Silicon Valley is the cradle of innovation for many of the modern day technologies we use today and is also home to many tech giants of the world as well as emerging tech startups. For most people, the valley is somewhat of a cryptic place, and unless you have lived in there, you'd have very little idea of what actually goes on in this paradise of tech. I am from a tech background, and that's why Silicon Valley has been a personal fascination for me since a long time. I always wanted to know what really happens in there and exactly what makes Silicon Valley so special. So when Silicon Valley TV series was announced, I was more than excited to watch it, and I'm extremely happy with how they have not only portrayed Silicon Valley but have more or less in many right ways accurately depicted the state of startups. In startups, your world is always in a constant chaos. Technology changes at a rapid pace, and in order to catch up, you always have to be on the forefront while bettering yourself each and every day. Because your life can change at any moment. I know this because since the last few years, even I have experimented my hand with entrepreneurship and seen how things could change overnight from bad to good or vice versa. So I'll give you a basic plotline of what Silicon Valley TV series is. In this series, we have our protagonist Richard Hendricks, who works at a Google-style parody company named Hooli, which is a multi-billion-dollar company with Gavin Wilson as the CEO. While working at Hooli, Richard develops a software that compresses any soundtrack and plays it at a lossless quality. He shows this around to a couple of his colleagues at his place, but is soon made fun of. However, things take a U-turn for Richard when those same colleagues start to dig into his work further, and behind them is a holy executive that oversees his work, after which he immediately reports this breakthrough of Richard's to Gavin Belson. Gavin becomes so interested in Richard's work that he straight out offers to buy out all of Richard's work for a whopping $10 million. But at the same time, Richard gets an offer from a venture capitalist to get a funding in his idea to build it up as a proper product for masses. Long story short, spoiler alert, Richard goes with the investor Peter Gregory, and then the real fun begins as he quits his job at Hooli to work full time on this product which he calls Pied Piper. As the story progresses, you start to learn about the various processes followed by startups. Terms like SWOT analysis, Scrum, repositories, and others are explained through specific plot lines in a comical fashion, and the sheer rollercoaster ride that Richard and his company goes through is simply brilliant. In the startup world, anything can happen, and that is what is shown perfectly in this season. At the time of the making of this video, season 4 of the series had just concluded, and trust me on this, the finale was simply brilliant. The series sort of tries to maintain a perfect balance between the narrative plot and the reality of startups. There is a lot of misconception in people's minds that once startups are funded, the founding members become some sort of magnificent executioners and turn that company into a billion-dollar valuation firm. But the reality is that in order to get there, the founding team has to go through a lot of tough times, which breaks them, a lot of struggles, and oftentimes they come very close to bankruptcy as well. There might also be a requirement for the startup to pivot. All the concepts are so intricately integrated into the show's plot that it's a hell of a ride to watch. If you want to start a startup or already are running one, I definitely urge you to watch this series as it not only entertains but is also a bit of a learning curve in those 30 odd minutes of the show. Silicon Valley has proven to be a real gem as it could have easily become a boring plotline wherein you would just have to watch some nerds. But anyway, let me know your thoughts on this. Are you a fan of Silicon Valley TV series? What are your favorite moments from the show? Let me know in the comments below, and also subscribe to my channel for more videos. Naschle dann auf.